Hey guys, what's up? 2-Bit Jesus here, and welcome to another edition of 2-Bit Talks. And today I am talking about my E3 Roundup recap, whatever you call it. Now, I was originally planning on doing individual videos for the Nintendo Direct, for Bethesda's conference, and for Square's conference, but I ran out of time. Hence why this video is a day late and possibly a buck short. I apologize. But without further ado, I'm going to do all three of those together. Now, I did not get a chance to watch Square's conference, but I did look at the highlights. And let's go ahead and get right into the first one, which is Bethesda, and then I'll get to Square. Bethesda's conference, for the most part, was them doing that classic South Park joke of, I'm sorry, we're sorry, because a good portion of it was them just saying sorry for Fallout 76 and announcing that Fallout 76 is finally getting NPCs, which should have been there at the beginning of the game. I'm so tired of these big online games releasing bare bones, and it takes a year to 2 years for them to become the game that was advertised. And then by that point, they've come out with a new expansion pack or a sequel to that online game, and the process begins anew. So, with that said, yeah, they had, I guess, a decent conference. Not too great. I would give Bethesda's conference a D, because I don't think that they did as good as Microsoft, but also I don't think they completely failed. They showed some cool stuff. They showed more of Wolfenstein Youngblood. They also showed some games on the horizon. Evil Within Studio is working on Ghostwire Tokyo. That looks interesting. Dishonored Studio, that's not the name of the studio. Arcane Studios, I think, is their name, but the people who make Dishonored are working on, was it Deathloop or something like that? And this is awesome, in my opinion, because, for one, these are going to be hopefully new franchises, and hopefully they take off, but also these studios aren't working on the same game over and over and over again. And a series tends to get a bit stale when they do that. This allows them to take a break, try something new, and they probably get new ideas from working on these new games that they can take back to the franchise, the core franchise that they work on, and make it even better. So I'm looking forward to seeing, I'm not sold on these games, but I'm looking forward to seeing, more about them. I'm intrigued. But all in all, yeah, I would give them a D. I don't think they had a great conference. Most of it was them saying sorry. They didn't fail, but they're also, not excelling either. So yeah, that was Bethesda's. Now, I'm not going to give Square a grade because I didn't watch their conference, so that wouldn't be fair to them. But I can comment on the games that they showed. And some of the games were awesome. Now, Daniel of Video Game Book Club, he thinks that Square did have the best conference ever, but I really can't judge that because I haven't seen it. Now, for me, the game that really just blew me away was the Avengers game. Now, I know that this game has gotten some flack because I guess Iron Man doesn't look like Robert Downey Jr. and Thor doesn't look like Chris Hemsworth. I don't really give a shit about that because Spider-Man and PS4 did not look like Tom Holland. Who gives a shit? They still look like, the characters. Sure, they don't look like the movie characters, but they look like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, etc., etc. They look like the characters. Now, they look a little bit more like the generic versions of those characters. Sure, I'll give you that. But they look like the characters. And I'm intrigued. There has been some misinformation out there online saying that it's like an only multiplayer game. No, it's not. They encourage co-op online, but 99% of the game, they said, is going to be able to be played solo. And that's probably how I'm going to play most of it, because I'm getting this title on PS4 for the reason that they said. They said they couldn't announce it yet, but they have a surprise for PS4 owners. That means Spider-Man is going to come into the mix somewhere. So I think Spider-Man's either going to swing into this game, or there's going to be some extra mission that connects the Avengers game with the Marvel Spider-Man game. We're getting a Marvel game universe. This is awesome. I'm excited. I'm hopeful for it because I would love for there to be a shared game universe, and just really, I think that they could take the series, or I mean take the series, they could take the franchise, the Marvel characters and all that, they can take it in so many other directions that the movies never could. So this is awesome. You know, the movies are awesome too. I love watching the Marvel movies, but through the video game medium, I really feel like you can take, you can really approach a lot of different stories that might not necessarily work on the big screen. So that's exciting for me. I'm a little worried though, because they talked about like supporting the game way out. They did say it's going to be free DLC, so we're going to get stuff for free. But what worries me is, are we going to get a game with like a 6-hour campaign? And then they say, oh yeah, we're giving you a Marvel Avengers, but also with the DLC coming out and all those extra stories and missions we'll be releasing for the next 4 to 5 years, you're getting Avengers 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so it makes, or at least maybe they're releasing an episodic, because that seems to be Square's big push, is they do want to do episodic stuff, it seems. You got the Hitman series, and then you got Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I'll talk about here in a second. And like, that has me worried. I want to play the game in its entirety in one sit through, but I mean, at the same time, it's free, so it's not like they're charging you extra. But then again, on the other hand, you're paying like $60 for a game, and you're only getting like a quarter of the game, and then you have to wait down the road to get the rest of it. So yeah, I don't know. I'll wait. I still want to get it. I'm going to get it on PS4 just because there's going to be that Spider-Man connection, and it's going to be awesome. But again, I'm also going to only be able to play single player because I don't have PS Now, or not PS Now, was it PS Plus? They showed Final Fantasy VII. I'm happy for everyone that is excited for it. I'm not a big Final Fantasy guy, so yeah, I'm not that into it. They're also remastering or re-releasing, they call it remaster, but re-releasing Final Fantasy VIII on all the modern consoles. And all that's great. Great for you guys. That's awesome. Crystal Chronicles Remaster is happening too. I love that game on the GameCube, so that's exciting. All in all, like I said, I'm not going to grade Square's conference, but from what they showed, looks like they got some awesome stuff coming out in the future. Now, moving on to the big kahuna, Nintendo. It was, in my opinion, the best. And it's a little biased because what they showed is the stuff that I like the most. So if you thought Square's was the best, Daniel Video Game Book Club, more power to you, brother. Then it was the best from your perspective. But from my perspective, I thought Nintendo had the best conference out there. Link's Awakening coming out. It's looking awesome. I love that game. Of course, I reviewed that game. Check out that review. But I do have misgivings about it. It does have a release date coming out this September. It's going to have like a dungeon creator, so that's awesome. But even though with the little, the updated graphics and everything like that, I can tell from the gameplay footage, it just, you dig under that surface, it looks like it's the same game. Yeah, sure, it's 3D graphics. It's not, Game Boy Color stuff or anything, but still, it's essentially the same game, and you're charging $60 for it. I'm not going to pay $60 for this game. I'm sorry, folks. Like, maybe it comes out and I see more about it, and I'm like, oh, I have to get that. Maybe then I'll dish out the $60, but I don't know. This feels more like a $30 to $40 title to me. I feel like $60 is asking too much money. I feel like Nintendo is just leveraging the nostalgia and the name brand and everything like that, and really just I feel the price. I don't think it's a fair price. I do not think so. If you want to get it, go for it. But honestly, it's not a fair price. I will wait to see this game drop to $30, even probably $30 used, at GameStop or wherever else, and then get it. But then again, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe this dungeon creator becomes the new Mario Maker, type of thing, but with Zelda. And then, I have to get it and then live stream it so all of you lovely subscribers can torture me with your impossibly hard dungeons. So who knows? I mean, excited for the game, yes, but then again, that price point I feel is way too high for that particular game. Now, moving on to the Smash Brothers characters, we're finally getting to see more of the fighters released. I bought this fighter pass like when the game released, and yeah, I was wondering, what are the new characters going to be? Because I'm so used to them letting you know before release what's all in the DLC, and with Smash Brothers they didn't. So we are getting the hero, which is like pretty much your, I guess, generic protagonist in the Dragon Quest games. And there's going to be, I guess, several different versions of him, I guess, when you pick a different outfit. So cool. I guess we needed another sword person in Smash Brothers. Not like we have a ton already, but hey, cool. Dragon Quest has been a huge Nintendo, I wouldn't say property, but it's been a huge game that's been on Nintendo platforms, and it's a huge video game franchise. They more than deserve to be on Smash Brothers and be able to battle different people. But the one I'm most excited for is Banjo-Kazooie, who, of course, was a part of Rare. So when Rare was bought by Microsoft, Banjo-Kazooie went with Microsoft. And how they revealed it was awesome. They revealed it through Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, and King K. Rool. They're all hanging out, and then we get trolled a little bit because it's like the duck and the dog from Duck Hunt are doing like the shadow of Banjo-Kazooie. And then Banjo-Kazooie actually jumps into the scene, and it's awesome. He more than I actually said welcome home when I saw that reveal, because I really do feel that Banjo-Kazooie is back home where he, or where I said he, I should say where they belong, because it's two people there. And yeah, this is awesome. Phil Spencer, of course, tweeted out like in 2015, this was like, Jesus, this was like 4 years ago, that he would be more than happy to work with Nintendo on getting Banjo-Kazooie to Smash, and it looks like that panned out great. This is awesome. There was some other stuff they showed. Dragon Quest, was it 11? Coming to the Nintendo Switch in September. Dragon Quest fans, that's awesome for you guys. Luigi's Mansion 3, we actually saw more on this game. Awesome, and apparently, what is it, Gooigi or something? Some goo version of Luigi. So they're making the game more co-op / online multiplayer. They're adding a lot more. So it looks like it's, I think that's going to be the big push with Luigi's Mansion 3. Of course, there's like a hotel that he's going through, and he's busting ghosts. You got a new ghost vacuum thing to capture ghosts, and that's probably going to have a lot of new features. But it looks like the new push is like, hey, Luigi's Mansion, but now let's put multiplayer in there, so it's not just a single player game. And I'm interested. I got it pre-ordered, paid off pre-ordered, so I'm looking forward to it. I love this will top off the trilogy. Now I do have the second game on 3DS, and I haven't beaten it yet, but it's just hard for me to get into handhelds. Personally, I kind of sometimes get a headache from the little small screen and then a crick in my neck, so I prefer playing on the TV. I'm one of those Switch users that almost always likes to get it docked so I can, play the game on the TV. I'm sure most people don't dock their Switches, they just play handheld mode, but yeah, I'm old. I prefer to play on the TV. Animal Crossing, of course, getting pushed back to 2020, but from what they saw, it looks awesome. You go to like a new island or something now, and all that good stuff. So exciting, and hopeful to get my hands on that game next year. I love Animal Crossing. I just hope it's not as demanding, because Animal Crossing is like, hey, you got to come here every day and play this game. I got stressed out. That's what always kind of like, I would get hardcore into Animal Crossing for a few months or a couple of months, and then I would get out of it again because I would just go, like, no, this is taking up too much of my life. I need to get out of this game. So hopefully they make it a little bit more relaxed for us, more casual Animal Crossing people. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, I cannot get enough of Marvel or even DC. I love superhero video games, so I can't get enough of it. Excited for this game, got it paid off. They announced expansion pass. You're going to get Fantastic Four, X-Men, and was it Marvel Knights? I already bought the expansion pass, have it downloaded on my Switch. Well, not downloaded, I just pre-ordered it, whatever the hell it's called, on my Switch. And then when this game releases, pop that motherfucker into the to the Switch and just start enjoying some awesome Marvel fighting Thanos and his people with Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, and Hulk, and freaking Captain Marvel. It's gonna be awesome. I'm so stoked for that game. We saw more Pokemon. This game's coming out, of course, at the end of the year. It looks awesome. I'm pretty sure it's one of the main features for people watching the Nintendo Direct. So they spent a lot of time showing that game. And then also when they got into the Nintendo Treehouse, that's what they started talking about was the Pokemon game. And I'm excited for it, but again, Marvel is just right around the corner. Marvel Ultimate Alliance. So that's what I'm thinking about. But then later on at the end of the year, I'm probably going to get super excited for Pokemon Sword and Shield. And they just showed a bunch of other stuff. Fire Emblem Three Houses. The Demon X, was it Machina? That one. We got a tease for No More Heroes 3. I know that there are fans out there for that. Of course, Resident Evil, was it 5 and 6 are being ported to the Switch. That's awesome. More importantly, though, the original Resident Evil game was being shown in that. And I really feel like Resident Evil Remake, its home is with Nintendo. That's what it was released on. And it just feels good to see that game back on a Nintendo console. A big surprise for me is freaking Konami's coming out with a new Contra game. Now, this game probably might not be good because Konami has forgotten how to make a good game and they seem to hate video games, honestly. But hey, let's give them a chance. Maybe this will be awesome. But it's going to be Contra Rogue Core. And then we're also... They seem to be cashing in on that nostalgia because they're releasing a Contra collection. I'm guessing Castlevania did really well for them, so now they're just like, yeah, let's just start pumping out these classics. Well, actually, didn't they have a Konami Classic Arcade? I think they had before the Castlevania one. But yeah, they're seeing that, hey, we can just repackage these old properties we own into like collections, and people will buy them up. And hey, they're not wrong. And I'm actually thinking about getting the Contra one, even though I already have most of these Contra games on other platforms. Astral Chain, I'm interested in this title, but I don't know yet, because I've been burned by Platinum Games before with a title, so it's like they do a really good job of getting people, I think, hyped for their games, but then you play them and they're solid games, like, you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I felt like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was a bit disappointing. Anyway, we didn't get to see any Bayonetta stuff, but that game is probably deep in development. Maybe next year we'll see something on it. But yeah, this Astral Chain, it looks intriguing to me. Looks like it's going to have a unique story to it. I can't wait to see more on it. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Now, we are getting a Panzer Dragoon remake from Megapixel Studios coming to the Switch. That shocked me. I was like, holy crap. Nintendo really pulled out all the stops. I feel that had, even if Sony had attended this year, I don't think anyone could have matched. Nintendo really hit all the high marks this year with their Direct. This is where they're, I think, really solidifying the Switch as because I think they now have the momentum over everyone else, and I think this E3 was them really going, all right, yeah, we've sold really well, but hey, here's what we got in the can, and they're staying on that momentum and building it up even further. Here's all these big tentpole titles and remakes and nostalgia and new stuff that they're coming out with to really kind of, put an exclamation point at the end of that sentence. Witcher 3 is getting ported to the Switch. That's awesome. But more importantly, the biggest one, back to what I said by Nintendo putting that exclamation point for their brand and for their E3, We got teased with a Breath of the Wild sequel. This was awesome. I didn't see it coming. I wasn't expecting it. I'm just so used to Zelda games coming out at the beginning to middle of a generation of a console, and then we don't hear or see about another Zelda game till the end/beginning of another, generation. So I wasn't expecting to see a Breath of the Wild sequel, quote unquote, until the end of the Switch's lifespan. And we still might see it, because this game was only teased. There's no release date, it's just in development, and it looks intriguing. It's the same world, same characters. So, and I guess there's like an old mummified corpse of Ganon hanging around. So yeah. Anyway, so we still might see this game at the end of the Switch's lifespan, but they're letting us know, hey, this is there, it exists. If I was to grade Nintendo's Direct, their E3 Direct, it gets an A+. Without a doubt, an A+. There was no dropped beat in that thing. When they started that thing, it was game after game after game. They did some cutesy stuff here and there, like Doug Bowser coming in, because the Nintendo Direct dude, he's the one who designed the Switch, I believe, or helped design it. He's sitting there going, oh, we got Bowser, Doug Bowser, and Bowser shows up. And he's like, no, what, you? And then Doug Bowser shows up. No, not you, Bowser. I'm the right Bowser, Doug Bowser. So that they did little cool things like that, but for the most part, once they got into the games, Nintendo was not messing around. They were showing game after game after game after game, and I can tell you, I am so happy to own a Switch and just so excited for the future of that platform. Anyway, guys, those are my opinions. Let me know your opinions in the comment section below. As always, be sure to stay safe and play on.